Okay, we're unmuted and we're live.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and, duplicate the warrants, and then we'll come right to you. So I'd like to begin with the warrants, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve payroll number 106 for $1,609.98. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we accept accounts payable number 107 for $94,180.75. That is, a big chunk of that is RSU 12 budget. Do I have a second for that? All in favor? Okay. All right, and, do you want to skip the minutes, or you said you had made some changes?
I didn't, I think I talked with you, so I actually looked at it since we, maybe if we could skip it.
We will not approve minutes for 5:20 select board meeting at this meeting. We'll wait and do that next meeting. We had asked, we're skipping, I guess you could call it a citizens issue, which is next on our agenda anyway. We had asked our volunteer fire department chief, Stacy Hutchinson, would come in and give us a little update on his numbers, because he was proposing a $30,000 increase. So, and we wanted more details. So wanna give us some feedback?
Okay, so this current year, we're paying out about 24,000 in stipends. I'm projecting what would be for next year, 40,000. I'm just going with approximately 250 hours for call and training time. So that's kind of my threshold. Currently, right now, I'm paying $1,600 per firefighter per year. And that equates to about $6.40 an hour. Going to the 4,000. Divided by that same time period would be $16 an hour, which is still on the lower end of normal pay for firefighters. But that's, yeah, I think that's a more reasonable. No, I'd like to pay $3 an hour, but not a thing. But I think that puts us in a good position. The breakdown is me and my two officers are getting paid $6,000 a year, and firefighters be paid $4,000 per year. And again, I hold them to a higher standard where I expect more from them because I pay them. And again, on the flip side, if they don't meet that same threshold, they don't get the full enough savings, steps. So
Who was the other two officers?
Jason Adams, my deputy, and James Irvin's my captain. He's also the EMS director, so he handles EMS side. Yeah.
So I had a question for you. Because we talked last time you were here about the fact that you do so much other than fires, and so you had said something like 132 calls or whatever. But what I wasn't clear about is how many of those were actual fires?
Fortunately,
None?
none.
Because we have them, and I guess it was, they're all the
Brush
fires.
fires before, I know we had them.
Your bill was brush fire. We didn't even have a chimney fire last year.
Wow.
I think that
We're
was.
lucky.
It was all the false alarms.
Yes, we had a lot of false alarms, but false alarms are good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, better than
Yeah.
not having an alarm and having a real issue. Okay.
The only thing that doesn't, it's gonna let the stock market, just because you haven't had any last year doesn't mean anything for this year. And.
Why do we all have insurance, right?
Exactly.
In hopes that you don't do nothing, you do, that you have no accidents or no
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah. We had a lot of calls, but fortunately, not many of them serious. We had some bad accidents, but they go through the same. No bad MBAs, so.
That's actually something to maybe talk to for talking about what we do differently in terms of being first responders and actually being on scene and doing CPR.
Yes.
Before staff gets there. So that's a big deal.
It really is. Because with caps, it can be 10-15 minutes getting here. And we can usually be on scene in 5. And that's critical time.
Mhm.
And it was in one case that she was.
Yeah. So So, and yeah, he respond to every call, whether it's car versus deer, tree down, anything that he, called in fire, 911 week.
So somebody's always here on the island.
Well, it's silly. That's the sticking point is most members are off the island during the day.
Working.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Darbox, Paul Bunyan, and Jason Cates are on the island during the day, during normal working days. Yeah, and Jason, his availability is, there's sometimes he goes, I can't get off unless it's a real emergency. So,
That's why so many times we've had meetings and all of a sudden your little alarm goes off. Yeah.
yeah. And it's a crucial thing because, we were talking earlier, it's not like can't necessarily do much. Getting eyes on the situation early is the most important thing, because if something is bad, we're trained him this is how you call in help. And maybe it's just, hey, I'm just gonna stand here and direct the ambulance, but they can find it, let the people know, hey, help's coming. And go from there.
So if we had a fire on the island during the day, chances are it would have to be from Wiscasset.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Jason and I did put out one a year and a half ago.
Yeah,
Is that the brush fire?
That was a brush fire on the south
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
so it's, if it is something big though, it's gonna rely on Wiscasset and possibly others.
Yeah, well, I keep reading and I was thinking about the one in, was it South Paris or wherever just the other day? But they were talking about all these different other fire departments that have come. And I've also been thinking a lot about what you had said about the potential for with OSHA and all of its new regs, that it may be that we become more of a regional center. Because, for me, I'm all for raising salaries, just because I feel like $6 an hour for risking your life is just, I don't, you can't put a number to that anyway. But the fire equipment is something that I keep wondering about, how much energy and money we put into that if it's not your main work, your main work is really.
But part of that is, it's something we have to have. We have to have hoses, have to have ladders,
Right,
have to
right.
have CBAs, and, there's a lot of things I probably could go out and buy, but, it's my 2 sets of extrication gear, both of them were donated from other departments. Would I like to go out and buy the new battery operated one? Yes, they cost 12 to 15,000. And part of it is that I can't really justify. Knock on wood, we haven't even had use, and I'm happy with that. But we feel that we have to be a standalone because we don't know if Wiscasset can come, because they could be busy on another call. They could be they're probably shorthanded during the day. They don't staff full time. I don't believe, I'm not entirely sure what their current staffing is.
Yeah, I know one of the towns was talking about more of a full-time.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
That's just the chief.
and part of his reasoning for that is, again, shorthanded during the day, he's also an EMT. So he goes, I can respond to these things, so.
So he's sort of jack of all trades like you guys are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that was his justification for doing that, especially because his job takes him all over the place. He's a driver for the hospital. So there's times where he's,
So if you needed, and I know there's always, you need always more than this, but if you couldn't do the whole 99,000, are there things that you could do without?
we go with what we can, it's, we think we're just gonna have to, maybe we go with, they're not all.
Well, it's not really, so 16,000 of that 33 additional is really additional stipend, so to support the people.
So, so if we use that, I like round number, $100,000. 40,000 is going to be for stipends. The remaining 60,000 is going to be for and all what I call sunk costs. So we spent 70,000 this year, of which 24 is gonna be that, so. You know, it's around 50,000. So. We're only talking a difference of like another $10,000, because I'm anticipating approximately 60,000 in operating costs. As opposed to 40.
Was there anything else lumpy that you're looking at in next year? Because we talked also about having to replace some of the turnout gear, which is, yeah, so it's getting pretty old.
Turnout gear starting to get old, so I'd like to get a couple sets of them. They're probably $3,500 a piece. I want to get a few more radios, some of our internal radios, ones that we can use inside the building. They're starting to wear out. We haven't bought any new interior radios in 10 years. And they're starting to age out. Jason's done the best he can at keeping these things going, but you know, we're possibly needing to phase a few more of them in. They go for $1,400 a piece. Yeah. Some simple pagers, 400 to 600. It's like, yeah, all you need to do is put fire gear on it and. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the challenges, and, you know, I'm just speaking here, thinking that because we've been looking at the budget and trying to figure out, because that's such a big jump. How to, you know, what is it that is critical? I mean, I'd love to give you all the money in the world. It's not coming out of my pocket, well, a little bit is, you know, my taxes, but, just trying to figure out. And again, it's not us that'll make the final decision anyway, it's the town that you have to talk to. But just trying to figure out how, you know, what is critical. And what could you do without for another year while we figure out what we should.
So basically what you're saying is that your biggest jump obviously is the stipends.
Yeah.
And then you're just about maybe 10,000 over what you're spending.
Half of my increase goes to stipends,
Yeah.
half is going towards,
Right.
funds.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is something we'll have to figure out on Thursday or next Monday.
And then on the last page,
Good.
just for, I've been ballparking kind of what other departments do. All that Edgecombe and Bremen, I kind of use as kind of bellwethers and close to us. Alma's population is 710, Bremen is 806. As far as I can tell, looking at the town reports, Alma's fire department budget's 122,000. But I don't know if that includes or does not include 45,000 for salaries.
And do you know if that includes, because you also have a, money market or a reserve account.
Reserve account,
Yeah, does this include the reserve?
I
account?
don't know, I think that's a separate as well,
Mhm, mhm.
because some of it trying to read on stuff with Jeff, some of it trying to figure out how their stuff is. I wanna. compare
Apples and oranges. Yeah,
Like you mentioned, their budget is 115 and some change. That does not include salaries, truck loans, reserves, any of that. That's straight operating costs.
Mhm.
And same with Bremen, they're 118,000 with another almost 48,000 in salaries. With kind of a like number of, they had $132 last year
Yes,
as
Yeah.
well, so.
somebody's had their hand raised for a while.
Yeah, that's, what the states and like, on additional stipend, $15,000 per year.
Mhm.
That $15,000 worth of gear this year could be very well be 20,000 next year. And I don't think there's nothing got lost by any means.
Yeah, again, you're gonna have to sell it to the town ultimately. And it's like, this is something we need. And, I've been here 30 years and I know the feeling of people with their taxes going up. So I'm just sensitive to that.
Oh, yeah, this is not a cheap business.
I know, yes.
And it's only,
And based on what you've been saying with OSHA and whatnot, it's gonna be even,
Yeah.
even
and
worse.
I still recall 10 years ago when I started, Bob was saying, he goes, yeah, we take bottles back to get enough gas money for the trucks. And I'm not gonna be in that position.
No, No, I think it's kind of sad if we're a town that depends on bottles to, yeah.
It's nice to be able to.
Yeah.
You know,
We have $1 million houses.
That's.
I don't think we need to be doing it for bottles. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You two have any other questions? Any of you guys have questions?
Yeah.
But I think that's, again, kind of presenting good to talk about why the stipends and the background. Also the equipment, additional equipment that you need to add on top of the base that's pretty tight as it is for operating.
Yeah. And part of it is, in a way, I'm trying to factor in OSHA, but I'm not, only because it's still a wild card. I don't know all the crazy stuff they're gonna make us do. Listening to some people talking, they said, yeah, this could cost every town $1 million. And that's not just a wild number. They're talking about needing outside shower access for decontamination, having turnout gear stored separately, position guided health, gym memberships and training health programs and exercise programs. And fortunately, we're not in that position, but fire departments that have more than 8 or 10 fire calls, every employee would need to get a health screening, including blood tests, cancer screenings, possibly MRIs and CAT scans. And, that's $20,000-$30,000 per person, and that's insane.
That's when I see towns really having to become regional, because
Yeah.
there's no way towns
Yeah.
around here could afford that, and other places as well.
Yeah.
Um,
And I remember one time, it was a few years ago, we had kind of broached the subject with Wisconsin. Hey, what if we had to rely on you guys? And they just laughed. They're like, no, they're like, hey, we can't, and you couldn't afford us. So it's, and if we need to go and replace trucks, 3 of the vehicles we have are already out of service because they're all 20 years or older. And our engine is now 12, well, going on 13 years old. So we'd actually have to start looking at buying a new one so that we could get it in the 3 or 4 years. But when everybody's doing that, who knows how long it's really gonna take, or how much. So it's.
Well, there's demand,
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's right now, you're talking 3 years demand. If you have, even a fraction of every department saying, well, I need a new fire truck. Yeah, they'll never get it.
Well, and the cost would be astronomical
Oh, yeah.
because they know they could get it.
Yes. We paid, yeah, we paid $250 for it. It'd be $450 at least, if not over 5. Yeah,
I remember it was a lot when we bought that.
it actually wasn't. It was 240,000. That's.
Well,
Oh,
back then it seemed like,
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's a cheap one. Some of these bigger ones go 600-800, up to 1.2 million.
but if you don't have to use it for fires, do you typically use, do you have other vehicles or do you use your own? I know Jeff has used his own
Yeah, a
vehicle.
lot of times we respond POV, personal vehicle.
Mhm.
We have an engine for big fires. We've got squad for brush fires, trees down and stuff. Tank just hauls water, and rescue is a combination, ambulance. It's set up like an ambulance, although it's not because we don't transport. That carries a lot of our med gear.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking if all of your calls are non-fire this year, you wouldn't have used the fire truck, right?
Well, but we use it when we respond to the false alarm.
Right, absolutely would, yeah, but others that it's like I have an emergency because I've fallen, I have an emergency because
Yes.
trees on my house or whatever, you wouldn't.
Yeah, we would use that, sometimes depending on if we have lines down and they say that they're creating,
Ladder,
sparks.
yeah.
No,
Sparks,
yeah,
yeah,
sparks, if there's possible fire, we'll bring it. car accidents, we will depending, we try to get a good size up from dispatch.
Mhm.
A lot of times it's car versus deer, with minor damage, so we won't, but if there's ever, a bad accident.
Yep.
We definitely roll it.
Yeah, I hadn't thought much about that, and, now thinking about, how many calls are there that are fire related?
I meant to bring my list, I think we had ballpark 8 or 10 smoke alarm, fire alarms,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah, you did report it, I think, in your town.
Yeah, I just don't know.
So those are things again, and we'll take out, the rescue. Again, with some things again, whether it's a medical, and we don't know how severe,
Right.
and so we'll be using the vehicles.
Just gonna ask them, have you considered? Not that some suggestion you do that because you can't afford it, but, seems to me like maybe a piece of machinery that would be, or equipment that would be more useful. Would be, like an ambulance.
Yes, actually, one of the things we've looked at is I've kind of been snooping around trying to find like a retired police cruiser, the SUVs like the
Mhm.
Explorers. Cause that would be a good size for us, because they're a lot more nimble than our current rescue. I'm not concerned so much with the mileage,
Mhm.
because we don't put a lot of miles on
Right,
vehicles.
right.
But they would be better in bad weather and then more nimble for a lot of these driving speed.
Mhm. Some of our roads that,
Yeah,
I know, Jim's working on them, but,
yeah.
they're not perfect yet.
But, and what about the other thing is, we respond with POVs, kind of my run rules are, especially being an EMT. I go direct to scene. And follow up people will then go get rescued and then show battles. And so that way. It used to be, they'd say, well, go get rescued and then go. And I'm like, I wanna put help with the patient as soon as possible.
Mhm.
Even whether it's CPR or just letting them know help is coming, because that can be a lonely feeling when you're waiting. So get someone there and then say more help's coming, here's the things I can do. And then rescue will come, and then with casualty. Granted, on the north end, there's even sometimes they can be awesome. Because they and go on a street, so what we're here to help.
Yeah.
But sometimes further down, it's.
Yeah, it is a long ways down when you're in an emergency.
Yeah, and,
Or they may have something else going on.
yeah, because when you hear Wisconsin second do, that means they've got to get another crew in
Right.
and then send someone. And I've been by myself or with a few of us down there waiting, seems like a long time.
Yeah, and we've had cases where actually Woolwich had to fill in because
Yep.
the gas was totally
Yeah.
tapped out. So it's important to have first responders able to be there and see.
So this is insurance is what it is, and you pay for it.
Yeah,
And we all have insurance of every kind just
Yeah.
because of that, so. Any other questions?
It's the themes to
yeah.
What's that?
it's planning for the meeting.
Yeah, so thank you. No, you're welcome to stay, you're welcome to head out if you. Right. Yeah,
Thank you again.
Yeah.
Anything.
yeah.
Oh,
Citizens issues, any? Mary Ellen.
Very modest one, so, the hearings last week that, Richard agrees maybe development scenario for looking at, cutting trees at the right framing, so I just wanted to, I don't have a solution to that, but I'd like to ask if, you can broaden that process to include the public, I mean, that's town land, and you've got three of us, the Helping Hands, the history committee, and the Friends who've been there for going on 40 years. So I think, again, I don't know different insights, but I'd like to make sure that there's a good discussion without lengthening the process that's involved, but I'd like to have, well, I don't know what you folks are thinking about doing with that, but
So what are your thoughts about it?
I just like to have multiple voices, I'm mostly about that at the moment, yeah. I want there to be consideration, I know it's in a certain kind of shoreline zone, but I'm just learning about shoreline zoning, so I'm not the expert. It's just a certain kind of shoreline zone, and, but also, I hear constantly, even though we don't get all the visitors to the building that we like, I hear constantly about people who just come out with their picnic lunch, and they either head out to the point, or they sit at the granite bench, they go out to the jetty, so a lot of people enjoy the site. So I just like to have some thoughts, some extra thoughts, provided as we talk about the solution to that, so.
Any
I don't
thoughts?
know where it stands on that, I don't know where it stands.
The trees don't look good, they're not healthy.
So walking around with us, we're all on the same, we get the same kind of information, and we have a.
But I think there should be some replanting, once those trees get cut, which I think, because people don't want to sell their skull in the sun.
We love it, and so moving forward, because of the considerations of the buildings and as Jim was indicating, the growth of the trees, I just was looking for additional voices to the process.
I agree completely, so.
We was all looking for a lot more turnout in those meetings, get more feedback. Free.
Well, I only just voted myself to one night, I know, I should have come.
Well,
back.
No.
What, you know what I mean, even the first night,
Well, people may not know what to expect, and again, I don't think that, property issue was on the agenda.
It was not.
Wasn't, so you
No.
enough come, so no, I did you not feel that there was a good turnout for the 2 nights,
The day that you came, we had approximately 20, that's including some of the staff. On Thursday, we had one person come.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did-
One new-
One person, yeah, the rest of the people were actually there to present.
showed up was the first time, I think.
Yeah, so, yeah, it was
Sorry.
pretty disappointing that, and it seems like based on Facebook commentary, a lot of people didn't know that it even existed, and, April has had it posted and, had the ordinances posted for.
There's limited tools to get it out. We put it in the newsletter, we put it on the website,
Put in the
Um,
newspaper.
we put it in the newspaper. We don't have an electric sign. There's no way I can like go get the slats and have
No.
enough stickers to articulate that on our sign.
Yep.
Not a plug for an electric sign. So that's about all we can do.
We did the best we could, and we had it 2 different nights in order to, make sure that people had an opportunity to. But you're right, that was not in there. That was not one of the, I'm not sure how it came up, actually.
Richard King was.
The first one.
Was it the first one? Didn't we talk about it then, when Richard was there?
Yeah, he brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said it wasn't on one of
On the
our.
list of things.
Yeah, he just happened to bring it up.
Russell was.
Yeah.
Road was the,
Yeah, the ordinance
just
was
more, I mean, general discussion about
you're.
the
leaving.
road improvement.
Yeah, you had your road plan.
You know, we said this is, we hit major warrant items, we talked about the town hall stuff, right? And I saw that.
Yes, I remember we did, actually, we'd asked about the town hall. The roads
Right.
and that, and he did bring it up at that time, I forgot about that, but he didn't have anything in writing, and, he had mentioned that. Yeah, that's something that, we'll be finalizing the budget or the warrant, it has to be done by Monday.
Okay, I know you guys are working hard, yeah.
But it's helpful to have your input, and it is something we have to consider as we look at the budget and what things might we have to cut or.
Yeah, and one item we actually haven't talked about, which is another expense, is the water. The water line. And,
Is that in?
well, we actually don't have it in the budget.
Okay.
And that's, and I don't really know what it's gonna be. I'm actually talking to Richard this last week, because rather than trying to just dig everything out, maybe we start at the house and look at and look to where the break was before. But that's getting some type of excavating and someone to do it. And I look at you, Jim, because you're about the only one who, it was Andy who,
We gotta start at the house, dig the well.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's, and maybe somebody, Richard knows could do that. But to kind of go out and just see, and if we, otherwise we have to really invest in, digging all the way out to So all that.
So you're not ready to put a number in the budget yet?
No, we're not, but just to note that there's that other expense as
I'm
well.
gonna have to steal some of the bottles from the redeeming bin.
We need to start a bottle collection done for,
You might
right
be-
landing.
Just go from the house
So thank you for.
to the well. Regardless. Unless the well break, the break is close to the house.
Well, it's going, because apparently the last time it broke, and it did break it once before, Richard said it was close to the house.
Yeah, cause. I can tell you, they probably use plastic coupling, which you don't use.
Yeah,
You try not to use any, cause you can get 400 foot oils and long on,
yeah.
and mine rule is no coupling. That's what you, that's probably, if you have to use coupling, use brass one, so it doesn't break.
Yep.
We use, like 200.
So that was thought, okay, if it's close to the house again, or maybe that same break,
If it's close out. Thing.
Easy, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
But make sure you use brass, coupling, and make sure you use 200 on wall.
And part of the challenge is you might find a break early on by the house and you think that's the only one. Maybe that it isn't, so it's one of the challenges. Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah, I realize it's really right.
finalize a warrant,
warrant,
including the budget.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
A lot of late nights when you post.
All right, thank you for your comments. All right, roads,
Roads, grading's done. They're gonna put some coal patch on, I hope maybe today. I have not seen. Any signs of that, but it's coming, Not much. Not much until first, second week of June. We'll be going down Silver Road. And. I'll do some ledge and removing some rock and getting the roads with the way we want. So with the torrential rain last night, I'm glad I didn't have anything. Where
yes, yeah. And you did present twice for those who attended your road plan. And asked for feedback, and I don't know of any that you got.
many, this road improvement, we're looking at. $350,000 to do West Shore Road, or $650 to do West Shore Road and. The lower end of Main Road. That's the want feedback on. You want to spend $350 this year, or you want to spend $650 this year? Which next year could very well be $750.
If we don't do something now.
So I just wanna know what's the same money, I wanna know what's on their mind.
Yeah. All right, well, thank you for presenting last week, and being there for those 2 days. Yeah. For correspondence, I just saw something that we've gotten from Brewer, and basically what it was just saying, we love working with you and want to work with you again next year. They are our auditor, and so they have a whole nice big.
It's the contract.
Yep, yep, but basically, if we want to work with them again next year, they provided us with contract. So I would think that we need to
We need to.
have a discussion
So
about
do it.
this if we want to do this, and I know Ashley had looked before about whether we wanted to keep with this auditor or another, and there basically aren't a lot of auditors around. Yes, exactly. So I'd like to make a motion that we accept William Brewer, certified accountant, as our auditor for FY 25. Do I have any comments before we make a,
Just so that- and that we sign the contract
yep,
with them. Well, that's how we, exactly, we sign the contract.
right, we have to read it first. Shall I read it? Not right now. It's the same thing it has,
But
we have 2 copies.
good, yeah, we can do it next week. It's not time for.
Right. Yeah, Ashley had looked it over, basically, she said it was this, the
Same
same thing.
thing.
It looks, it is the same as I've seen in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Okay.
But it's good to look it over and just so you see what they're committing to do.
so I can postpone my motion and we can just wait until you read it.
Yeah,
You wanna read
let's take it, no.
it? Okay. When you're done, just stick it in the box. Right, next on the agenda is ordinance revision discussion, and this will be a discussion about some of the ordinances. Some of the feedback we got from the meetings that we had last week. So take it, Lisa.
The only input we got was on the nuisance, no. Yeah, the nuisance ordinance. Section 3F. There was discussion about the length of days that personal properties left. In outdoor storage. Currently it's at 15, and I think it was mentioned that that's not very many days, so we need to decide how many days.
And I think we pretty much were in agreement at that Thursday meeting that we needed to extend that a lot. And the feedback that we got this afternoon also says that.
Oh, yeah, somebody, mentioned something on Facebook
It's on
about.
Facebook.
Oh, okay, I haven't.
the 15 days.
They clearly did not like 15 days, so somebody been reading it.
Yeah.
This is the outdoor storage for more than 15 days of items of personal property that are worn out, broken, deteriorated, dismantled, or based on their physical condition have been discarded or abandoned, including discarded household furnishings, appliances and fixtures used or salvaged, building materials, packing, clothing, equipment, and machinery or parts thereof, tires, scrap metal, scrap lumber, masonry for blocks, large limb piles, that one especially, boxes, containers, bins, cabinets, and electronic devices.
It's. The reason we did the nuisance ordinance and didn't stay with a junkyard ordinance is for this exact reason. The junkyard ordinance was very specific to junkyard items. And sometimes some personal property could have other things. It was very difficult to make this list. It's impossible to make an all-inclusive list. This is just an example, I guess, of some of the things that, we could sort of cover the gamut of things that could be in a person's yard besides engines and metal, yeah.
It seems like, so my understanding of the nuisance ordinance was that it's supposed to protect neighbors from things that are going on. Yeah. Right, so I can see like a limb pile of dope forever we get rats and everything. But, or engines can leak into the water table, get that, but just like ugly stuff out on the lawn. I mean, everyone's definition of what's ugly is different. That's where personally I would draw the line, like if someone wants to leave a pile of clothes on their lawn, gross, but. Is it really gonna affect me directly as a neighbor, or is that just an aesthetics thing? Aesthetics versus actual fact, I guess.
Well, to me, there are two things here. One, the 15 days, to me, I think we pretty much feel that needs
It's
to
really
go.
like a chronic,
Yeah,
chronic.
and 15 days is a chronic issue. And also winter comes and you have, you can't get out there for months.
If you have a wind pile, that's the time to get rid of it in the winter. To burn it.
Right, and to me, the limb pile isn't is,
Well, Jason had suggested taking that out, and I don't have a problem. Doing that.
Did you restate that then?
just leaving out what large limb pile is one of the,
Well, his concern was, and then you have the 15 days, his concern was he's making a pile of wood that he's gonna eventually burn and get to, but, he doesn't wanna be non-compliant, and that was his argument, I might not get to cut it up, in a timely manner.
Probably got enough burning ban here before long. You don't have to buy it, right? Typically July, August,
Mhm.
can't burn nothing typically.
Great.
So, you know, I'm sure Jason said that, I'd rather wait 90 or 100 days till October when we get some rain, and then burn it, which only makes lots of sense, you know. I think that was his concern,
Mhm.
is somebody having a limb pile that they can't burn, safely burn, and it's too big to take to the dump. And somebody rolling the dice trying to burn it when, to be in compliance, and yet they're taking a chance.
Yeah, I know my neighbors sort of collect limbs over the winter, and then when they finally, early spring or whenever, the snow's melted, they can finally, but it's gotta be worthwhile to burn,
Right.
yeah. So you're okay taking off just the,
Large limb piles. I think that's a, yeah, sort of a situational thing that lots of people, probably have at some point or another.
if you can't get anybody to cut the trees down or whatever, you wind up having a really, pause. So you wanna make a motion do we have to do a motion to make changes to these ordinances?
I think it would be great to
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah.
So do you wanna make a
So I move
motion?
that we, under section 3, item F. Almost last sentence, remove large limb piles.
Yep.
As an uplisted item.
I second.
Okay.
All in agreement?
Second, yeah.
But I,
Fine.
And then, we need to decide on.
15 days. I still think 15 days.
Well, it can, yeah, so if we increase it, it should be
I feel like 2 months is
60 days.
60 days.
I don't have a copy in front of me, so. Well, where's that?
It's right here. Does 60 days sound reasonable to you?
I think so. I mean, it's arbitrary.
Yeah, but it's 2 months at least, which feels better. I'm just thinking of our present situation.
Yeah.
And if you're asked to clean up, you need time to be able to do that. If I have a lot of scrap lumber, I've got to find somebody who would be willing to help me move that scrap lumber. Not scrap lumber, I'm thinking of scrap metal, sorry.
This is more, has to do with the amount of time that this,
It says be
right,
out there.
right. This is about, so let's say somebody drives by their neighbor's house every day and they see a pile of computers and file cabinets and whatnot, right? They have to, it has to be there for that amount of days at least before they can really technically file a complaint. That's the idea of the time frame. It has to be a chronic, ongoing thing. It's not like somebody just gutted their bathroom and the toilet's on the front lawn.
Yep.
And they don't get to clean up the stuff for 2 weeks or whatever.
That's why I still feel like 60 days feels more chronic.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
2 weeks is not.
Oh, no.
2 weeks is way too short.
Yeah,
Yeah, even 60 days though seems, I'm trying to go through scenarios of what would keep someone from being able to move stuff.
And I'm thinking of the weather in the winter.
Yeah,
What's that, 90 days?
Just because I'm thinking July, August, not burning.
Yep.
Even if it's demo wood,
yeah,
Yeah,
winter time,
yeah.
90
My
days would be
season.
fine too.
like it's that way for them now, mine.
Yep.
Rainer.
Yep, I would be okay with 90.
but it needs to be a long enough period of time where it's obvious
But it's
we're
not
not doing
moving.
anything with it.
Needs to be reasonable. too.
Right.
That's fun, cause when it's
Yeah.
mild and.
Because then, yeah, So-
They can't use rain or whatever.
Right. Sure.
That's an excuse.
You wanna try 90?
This also covers, material that people are using in demolishing part of their house.
no, I think we have,
So
hold on.
if it's lumber sitting
Yeah,
there,
okay, so this subsection shall not apply to used lumber and or metals which are neatly piled and intended for reuse or recycling within a period of 12 months. And then you talk about how they should be stored. It does say something about, yeah.
No, there's,
shall not apply to any materials intended for use at construction site for which a valid building or land use permit issued by the town is in effect, or to any property for which the sale of such items is otherwise allowed.
Okay, all right.
so I'd like to make a motion that we change the 15 days to 90 days.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I also want to, having looked at Facebook today. It talks in that next paragraph about such materials should be stored in a manner to prevent insects, rodents, snakes, and other harmful pests which may live, breed, or multiply, or create a fire hazard. You know, my brother would be one who'd say that snakes are very, beneficial. So I don't know that I would, I think taking out snakes might be a,
Oh, your favorite snakes, okay.
well, somebody
No
specifically brought it out.
poisonous snakes in Maine, right?
Yeah.
That's correct.
Didn't see a king cobra about that long the other day, jumping about 6 feet in the air, wasn't a king cobra, that's like, oh, I just think that's.
It was a king something or other. I just-
And quick.
My bedroom exaggerated. Yeah. Slippery little things.
You know, I can see getting rid of insects, which can be a problem. Snakes is a, yeah, so I,
They were like,
that we delete snakes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Right. Somebody was not a snake lover who brought, or did it come from the
Probably came
mistake?
from another
Yeah,
ordinance.
yeah. Yeah, I have snakes all the time in my wood piles.
Right,
I just wait until, winter.
They take care of the rodents.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Start my life.
Yeah, yeah. All right, are you kept from those?
I am.
Okay, perfect.
what's that?
And I think that was it on the nuisance ordinance. LD 2002 was okay.
Yeah, nothing
Mooring
to say there.
is fine,
Yeah.
the sticker is, the driveway. And the problem came in with, site distance criteria. And
Mhm.
the idea, I think actually Richard brought this up at our first meeting was. So writing a variance. To say. So I wanted to ask you, Jim, what you thought about all of that.
What I was looking for
I know.
was something very simple. John, it's a work, don't get you wrong. Too much, it's a lot of work. Just looking for something. Very basic, I didn't wanna get into subdivision roads, so they call one the subdivision. Didn't wanna get into site distances. Don't wanna restrict anybody from doing anything. I just wanna make it so when they put a driveway in,
Yeah.
we don't have to keep going back and doing constant maintenance.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the ordinance committee, there's a big thing about criteria, right? What's the criteria? So if you don't have criteria, then your thing could be subjective,
Right.
right?
I would rather not do this. And just if one of these other driveways get put in, and it's a constant maintenance nightmare, people just have to bite the bullet. I'd rather do that than to have something too restrictive. And,
This was the one that our attorneys kind of had the biggest extent of comments about. Because we're trying to interject it into the existing ordinance. And it's a mishmash.
a lot of towns. Driveway entrance. Permit, this is very, very basic. Some towns will actually come and put the entrance in, so they get it the way they want it. That gets to be expensive. But is it more expensive than what we're gonna deal with up here? Probably not. But I don't wanna open that can of worms. So if we table this, give it more thought. We've gotten by, 200 years without it. I'm sure we can get by another year or two.
I would feel better about that, to be honest.
I would too, I don't wanna,
But I want it to be right, and I don't want it to be like you said,
And you,
bearing,
right,
and Jim needs to feel good about it.
yeah.
It sounds like you don't.
and. I don't, because I think it's too restrictive. But I know the criteria thing, Gary Richardson told me that if you got no criteria, it can't be your call, it's gonna be. The call that's on paper,
So, yeah, yeah.
I don't know how these other towns have done it, but like Woolwich, I got there, April got me the. You know, there,
Very honestly, if you had the criteria, if we have the criteria, right, and then we have the process, you get a permit, they fill it out, you go check it out, you tell them where to put it. You tell them how to do it, where to do it, and they do it and it's right, you're done. The criteria comes in if somebody's gonna wanna argue.
And say, no, what, other ways.
well, the biggest thing would be. I'm gonna pay $700 for the right side column, I'm gonna pay $300 for the wrong side column. That's really what I'm trying to avoid that.
So let me ask you, yeah, exactly, with the site distance thing. How important is that when it comes to the placement of a driveway? I mean, that would be something you would, but sometimes it's depending on the property, you won't be able to make that
That's
happen.
why I didn't really wanna get that in depth. I was more concerned about the ditches, the ditch line and the approach that the driveway makes to the road.
Right,
If they wanna be like right up here on the other side of the bridge. And shut your radio off, shut your car off before you pull out, so you can hear if anybody's coming,
Mm-hmm.
that's up to them. But. I think this is what. Dave, what do you think about it? Maybe that next year or something. A little more. Give me time to do some research into
Yep.
some of these. Other towns.
yeah, but I'm just saying to you that, like, I know they might have. An ordinance that is worded just as, detailed as this, but. Chances are, most of the time when somebody gets the permit and the person goes and it's, they work it out and it's sort of a non-issue.
Yeah, well,
I think,
if there's
but-
no enforcement, then there's no sense having an ordinance.
Right, right.
That's where I see. The site distance on the side roads, I don't think it's critical. Because it's 25, 30 miles an hour.
Mhm. Right, so
You're already having to go pretty slowly.
the things we talked about was just making the site requirement, where is it? I just lost it. For, just for main road.
Yeah. Now, if you. That's a can of worms, is the way I see that. Well. The town owns the town section of the main road.
DOT owns, right?
And then I wanna build a West Hill Road. Or it's gonna be uniform, it's gonna be one size fits all. Or it's not worth it, this is that,
How site requirements vary based on speed limit though?
yes,
So don't you already have that variance built into it? This main road is 45, so you would have bigger site distances, all the side roads. I don't know if
they're very,
they're 25,
35,
35,
35.
so they would have longer.
sure, 10 miles per, 10 feet per mile.
Right, I mean, I care about that because. If I'm the one flipping down the road at 45 miles an hour and someone pulls out a driveway and I T-bone them, then it is my problem. Like, I don't, think you should build a dangerous driveway.
So I don't either, and I don't recommend it. It's either gonna be. All that stuff, when I see it.
But it sounds like what we need to do is not bring it to the town.
I was waiting, I was what,
It's not,
Lisa can work on it
yeah,
and bring.
Next year.
Next year, it's not making this matter.
Okay with that? So I'd like.
I agree with April about the site distance,
Mhm.
because that's why the state requires it. Most of the time on these side roads, I think if you kind of little brush or something, you would get. But you get what you need.
It's more the culvert and the damage it does to the roads. Yeah,
What a side distances. Look at passage roads, look at the ferry road, you could, I could come on and on and on, I could name you 50
Yep.
dangerous driveways on the side.
yeah.
When's the last time there was a crash at passage road?
But are they dangerous with the lower speed limit on Parsons Road? Or are they,
It's 45 miles an hour, you come up over that hill and there it is.
oh, because the road is intersecting Main Road.
I hope, I mean, it's never been down Passage Road.
Yeah.
Try pulling out of there some days, turning left.
Been down Parsons.
Well,
Well, I mean, we aren't regulating roads, so we're regulating driveways.
Yes, but they put the mirror in at the corner of Ferry Road, because that is really dangerous, and that was a big,
Passage Road is even more than just
Mhm.
there.
right, but the Ferry Road is used more, right?
Well, I
right,
think the fair, you got, trailer, things
Right.
trailered out,
Yeah,
so you've got us.
Last to stay in yellow kind of lane, you get speed up.
If we were to
Is
put in
it
a,
right? No,
Yeah.
safer.
Yeah,
if we were to put in a new road today, would we have to consider site distances? For the town? Yes.
On the state road, you wouldn't.
On the state road,
a road versus a driveway,
a road,
a road,
yeah. Yeah. So these roads that have really terrible site distances are older, ones that can't be,
my grandfather did.
yeah.
So this, the way it is right now is nothing.
Mhm.
If I wanted to go right below my grandfather's house here and put a road in, there's nothing, well, that's state.
We, it's the state,
We're
we,
gonna do it down
yeah,
just below Todd's house.
I see.
Like,
Yes.
That's be fine. It wouldn't be fine. But with the town.
There's no rule against
Without
that.
any, ordinance, yeah. So it sounds like more work needs to be done on this, so I'd like to move that we, not bring, this part of the ordinance, the driveway ordinance to, the town meeting, that we just, table that for now.
They would, I would like to make public, I appreciate John Henderson, Long and. Everybody help, Lisa, everybody can help work on this, give me input on this.
Yeah, it's okay, we started it, you know, we took on a lot.
Still needs to be,
We took
yeah.
a lot this year with
Sure.
ordinances, and this is, you know, it's a work in progress, and it's not the end of the world if we don't do it this year. Like you said, we'll get it done next year.
So do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Right,
Okay. Is that all the ordinance?
that was it. Those
That
are
was
the
it.
only,
Okay.
yeah, that's the only input we got as of today.
So, maybe the question is how we have this phrased in the one. So, are we phrasing it as the ordinance committee recommends, select board recommends, how are we?
Do we put it, do we even have to put it in the warrant? Do we have to make it an article if we're not gonna?
No, no, I'm not talking about this particular one, I'm talking about general.
Oh, in general.
Yeah, it has to be us at this point because the
Ordinance review.
It's not meeting.
An advisory committee.
Right, so it has to be,
So they,
Voted on it as of the last, you know,
yeah,
presentation that we put out, but now we made changes,
well,
so.
we just made changes to the one.
Mhm.
So the other,
nuisance ordinance.
yeah,
Yeah, so that one would be recommended by the select.
Yeah.
And not the ordinance review committee, but it'll be the 2003 one, zoning board and select board. Harbor master, again, so the rest of it works,
yeah.
just that one wouldn't be changed.
Okay, moving on. Any admin items? Yes, April.
Still have a warrant for you guys to sign, RSU 12, that one needs to be posted. So I'm gonna have you all sign this, there's 3 identical copies.
And tell us what it's about.
So. This is the RSU 12 warrant calling the referendum. So letting voters know this is gonna be on the ballot. So, yeah,
We'll just note that it passed at least of the RSU meetings last week. overwhelming law, there's any votes, well, I think there were 3 votes against one of the amendments. But basically everything passed.
Yeah,
Overwhelming law.
There was no issue at all, or
Yeah.
very simple meeting.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice change.
They've all signed it. If you guys can fill in the dates
Yeah.
here, and then there's 3 lines for each of you to sign.
Well, you should couldn't be
No,
school.
pass them to you. I would do that. Sign.
What is this, the 28th day of May? Does it matter which one we sign?
No, no, you have to sign all 3. You can. If it's not too complicated, you can all start your own and then pass on.
Alright.
Okay. Thank you. And now I need, your approval of Carol Morris as the election warden. So this is an appointment, but I approve her, but the select board is supposed to approve ahead of time. And then she'll also be moderator, she'll be elected as the first item on the warrant, but I do need a vote of approval.
Carol Norris.
As the warden.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approve Carol Norris as the election. What is she? Election moderator, warden. And you said also a moderator?
Yes, but you don't have to include that.
That's
She's gonna get elected.
That's the
Okay.
15 minutes ahead of time that you're
Yep.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Alright,
Okay, and now I'm gonna ask you to appoint ballot clerks. So you already appointed election clerks a few weeks ago, and that's good for 2 years. But that was only for state elections. For local elections, they have to be appointed as ballot clerks, just for the duration of that election. So I'll be asking again next June. We haven't done this traditionally, we've kind of combined it, but the manual is pretty clear. You need to do it separately, and you need to do it before each local election. You can't do it all at once for the 2 years.
Oh.
So I appreciate the efficiency. My reading of the manual, this is how we're supposed to do it. Oh, by the book kind of girl.
Thank
I'd
you.
like to appoint the so I will just read off the names to you. I didn't get a list ready for you, but and I'll hand them to you.
We have to, can we do the motion in one motion?
Yes, I think so. If I read off the names, I'll read out the list essentially, and someone can make a motion to approve that list, and just fine. Okay, Ann Cole Fairfield, Deb Lawrenson, Joan Bradford, Ralph Cadman, Sarah Griffiths, Carol Norris, Joanna Jacobs, Catherine Henderson, Jessica Bailey, Anne-Marie Welcome, Jay Wagner, and Dick Arthur.
So I'd like to make a motion that we approve that list of names for ballot clerks. Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
alright,
You can have party.
that's okay. Then coming back to the question about the ordinance, I'm looking at now the revised version of the warrant. And many of these were just recommended by select board. So the change from recommended from the, so were the definitions, then, is that approved by the ordinance or
Oh,
not?
no,
We didn't even discuss, I think it was just the semantics.
Okay,
I sent them to John and said, are you okay with this?
Right.
And he said, yes, it's all are fine with me. So we have planning board chair approval. I don't know if you ran it by the planning board, but I also spoke to Rich Lawrence and Bob Face, which has been a problem. They're all like, yeah, please change it.
yes, yeah. Well, it's fine to make changes. I'm just not looking at the details about how it's
Right.
presented.
Yeah.
And, yeah, because it wasn't reviewed by the planning board, so. So
Say
that's,
planning board right now,
no, it doesn't, it just says.
select board,
So
yeah.
I was just surprised to see them because earlier the version I had something else. So, but that's appropriate.
put planning board, because I got Jennifer Silva, and I thought, oh, Sarah Field, she ran it by the committee. So,
I would think it's wiser to just leave it as select board, and we know that's the case.
Yep.
yeah,
We'll get through after
and
that.
we can always call on Sean or
And,
Richard
Yep.
or Bob.
yep. All right, next for admin items.
Oh, we need to establish the town meeting time. So I'm sorry, the poll is not gonna help you much. I did a poll. It came out about 50-50.
Something about this with our town lately, it's half and half.
Guys,
7 AM.
7 AM, yeah. I will not be there.
I'm just thinking back to the 6:30 evening. Yeah,
It's one of those. When was the last time?
Full day.
Oh, yes,
When
we
was
had,
it?
yes,
Yeah.
it was,
early.
Yeah, I think I used to know this.
Oh,
it was after I got here, yeah.
what's changed? Chris Cooper, like
People-
cracking the whip, people get.
Well, my fear is that it's going back to,
Well, on Saturdays, people don't wanna spend all day, they'll sometimes you.
yeah, but this was a Saturday, I remember, or it was
Yeah.
very contentious.
Just when
meeting.
people came here as a stopping point, no, it's cold. And thought they still was controversy, because when they had them, nobody left happy.
Right, well, it seems we haven't done that for 30 years, so.
No, it's been less than
Adam?
a year.
I think it'd be worthwhile to take the
Okay.
risk and have a nice brunchy kind of town meeting. Brunchy,
We'll,
have a
we'll
breakfast before, a little lunch
maybe
out.
one more item. One more that's not going.
Where the tech, yeah.
So,
I think the moderator.
right, so we need to
Yes.
decide on our time, is where we are now.
How many votes did you get? How many people responded? Yeah, about 15. Yeah.
Brilliant. That's good.
Like, I mean, we didn't 10 or at. Smart move, smart move.
Well, I like, I'm on this camp of let's get it over with.
So I like how I'm going with Ben because I'm trying to get on people who's.
What do you say?
I think 10 would be more reasonable, you know, maybe, I ran into Patty Mendes one day, after one of our meetings, and then she just kind of said I was slow getting going this morning. And that could be anyone, so I don't need to call
Right,
Patty Mendes, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think 10.
Or anybody that's got little kids, you know, Saturday morning, you know, it's weekend, you know, getting the kid going, feeding the kid. Yeah. I mean,
So I'm okay with 10 o'clock, although typically I'm up at 5 or 6, so, it's about noon for me. Yeah. So, I'd like to move that we set a time, start time at 10 o'clock.
a second.
All in favor?
Right?
Everybody?
I'm gonna abstain.
Right, you're not gonna be blamed for this, right?
No, I'm just embarrassed.
Embarrassed, go on.
Well, it's one of the little things I kind of like, just continuing with the.
Yeah, well,
Just-
have you looked on Facebook? You're looking at referendum voting and not doing this.
Yeah,
Town meeting if some people have their way.
yeah, well, that's some very few people. This is the purest form of government you can get. They want to get rid of it.
Yep,
Oh,
yep,
wonder who they voted.
yep. And they didn't, none of them even knew about the meeting last week, we had 2 meetings, so. Didn't know anything, so we do the best that we can, and that's all we can do.
Yeah.
All right, anything else for, admin items?
All I have to say.
All right, anything for either of you two?
Let's talk a little bit. You got the, I don't have any.
Okay. Then what did you want to talk about?
Well. The thing is, Baker Road, you got the Greenleaf Road here, that was should be good enough, but the Baker Road just won't,
Is there any update on Baker Road?
I think,
Well, the long drill,
yeah,
they'll make them,
they'll make them work.
not that drill like that.
And we just don't know how deep it is, yeah. And doing a test would be wanting to get the sheriff's deputy over.
Yeah, beat a whole damn arms, nice, now bring up.
Well, it's getting worse because he's moving stuff back in now
Is he?
in the roadway now. So, like moving some of the shrubbery in as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Around so much, you think it
Oh,
would.
right, yeah.
Well, some of them aren't doing so.
I think we need to take pictures of when he's changing it every week to show, this is where you were last week, and maybe use those as some,
Yeah.
I can certainly start to think about going down there.
Do that, you check the calendar and see the moon phases, and coordinate that with the time. You may see.
You'll have to help me with that, Jim, because I don't have all, sorry. Yep.
A lot of factors involved.
Yeah, I just think it'd be interesting to start to notice that, I'll start to think about that. Right.
Just to know that one of the main steps then is actually getting a camera.
Mhm.
Also, and one of the concerns I got into it more was actually being able to take the range. Assuming we do it from Buddy and Needles over towards the corner. A game camera set up nice to get something that's more, the range of like 40 feet maybe. So now we're talking about something that's more like 150.
Yeah, 200.
So I've put into some security outfits, question mark, this is what we need for specs. And then we're all be able to record things to the cloud. So we're not limited. So I haven't gotten any response back. So that's,
Yeah.
but that's another wrinkle that's gonna work through this is the range, being able to get a picture that's decent.
Cause yeah, if it's grainy, then, the police are gonna say, well, that doesn't look like him, you can't. Yeah, it's gotta be pretty clear,
Yeah.
yep.
Anybody get any connection, must. If satellite.
He should be on speaking terms, but, yeah,
Concert though.
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah. Well, I'm back to, how can we take action in a way,
Definitely full circle, I'm almost back around the guardrail thing.
well, I also did look at,
Look into that.
the Jersey barriers.
Yeah.
And how much those would cost. Again, to move, they're approximately 2 feet, the footing is about 2 feet in the air. About say 3 feet high. And 4 feet high. And you could position it, we'd have to position the edge. So we lose basically 2 foot of road. If we did that.
That's fine.
So it seems
That's 10 feet.
But Jersey barriers, we get something that was used.
Yeah.
And we could position them there along the roadway. And they're like 700 pounds, I think. I think very in weight.
You can get them to bring them here and drop them for you?
Well. I don't use one, but let me make some calls because 700 pounds.
It's not,
You know, the ones they put. Don't need the aesthetics of it, the ones they put between the highways up here, the Wheaton Highway.
Mhm.
Something like that, something that little green toy you can pick up.
Well, I think that might be a good step to do that. And it's kind of partially getting, because the shipping costs for these things that they're new is pretty exorbitant too. So it's
I'm
gonna,
not sure.
Deliver for free.
yeah,
You've been coming down. If they're a cow live,
right,
they could set up.
right.
we could do that. That would make it really kosher, like a half Carl, not present.
And if, so we like, now we could do some of her.
Well, somebody might say it's, yeah, they may complain about it being a nice spot.
I don't care.
Right, there's options, we can do digital camcorder, so you
Thank you,
can
Mary.
see them.
Thanks, Marion.
Yeah, but that I think is a way, maybe a kind of a next step.
Let me check into that and check into that.
Is it?
I just want to say that if we lost 2 feet of road to put those, that is no different from losing the 2 feet that Albert Greenleaf takes from us periodically.
Well, he take
10 feet,
He probably has more than that.
Yeah, but it just,
yeah, 33 feet, subtract 2. Still plenty of room, because growing.
right now, it's only a foot to 2 feet. Right now,
I don't know. Because he's got those shrubs.
No,
It
no, it's more than
it
that.
might be more than
He's
that.
moving his back out.
Yeah.
okay, I have looked.
No, he's actually getting kind of back out towards where he was.
Is the sign back down?
I think the sun's still up, but it's
I
not.
haven't seen this week's landscape.
Yeah, he moved the sign, so it's a couple feet away from the edge.
Okay,
Yes, he moves things around. Sometimes he moves things back, sometimes he moves forward.
Yeah.
One of the trees is busted.
There's nothing else to do, so again, we need to take the green tractor from him. that's-
Unfortunately,
Yeah,
but using the barrier or two would be
So make sure it's something that can't be
easily done.
easily done without relying.
Yeah, and people can see him doing it.
I
I think an eyewitness would also cover it.
Like
don't know,
holes in them that you could put
something into the ground.
anchors.
no, usually, well, yeah, some of them do. But they,
I know you don't know what it's going into.
yeah. I'll have to-
But then you attach to, I mean, attach two of them together. This sounds,
Yeah, you can attach them together and you can
yeah,
see them where they, like she says, where the taper is, they got holes in them, so you can drive rebar. So
Yep,
unless you get it into lanes, I don't see it really doing much.
Yeah,
and you
As
were,
long as there's, as long as it's something's heavy enough that he can't move. And. get
and
some
plus, you know
pictures,
what? Even if he moves them, where's he gonna put them?
right?
well, he would shove them
Can't
out.
hide them.
He'd shove them out, wouldn't he? Into the road,
Yeah, that's why you gotta make sure that it's something he can't lift,
Right.
push,
right,
move.
that's
If he
why
damages them,
anchoring them,
we'll have pictures of the day we put them there.
yeah.
They get damaged.
Once I put it in, Carl says, this is the property. And that gives us a good reference.
That's what it was. Somebody said eyewitness. He's assaulted people.
but
The
not.
sheriffs have come down there. And one fella I do know, that got assaulted, he broke his phone because he was taking a picture of him. With his tractor on the fella that got assaulted land. So he took a picture of him on his tractor on his land, not on Alpha's land, on Jay's land. Albert assaulted him, broke his phone, and the DA says, well, you need to buy him a new phone. No charges, no nothing. When he knocked Buddy down with his plow, nothing. They wouldn't do anything. Nothing. So not only is the sheriff's department at fault, district attorney's office is definitely at fault, because she's had 2 opportunities for assault. And neither done. That's why I'm headed up to here.
Mhm, mhm.
That's why everybody has, because everybody's getting paid.
Yeah.
But nobody's doing nothing.
Yeah,
And people are getting one set.
yeah, case where we need the support. I got promises, but, you know,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, all you gotta do is call. Yeah, that's the point. You know, the day he did this, when I was working down here. It's like, guy was working, you're gonna call the sheriff? Why? Why?
All right. I'm not gonna go into an update on Green Lake because I didn't get her to take pictures this last weekend.
I did drive by the check what this weekend just to see.
Yep,
And there is some stuff less, but there is still a lot of the offending stuff like dead vehicles are still. So much of this stuff is still there.
yep, he's supposed to, I think, next week get the 2 cars that were picked up, so, but I have not been by there this week, so I was taking my own pictures. All right, I'd like to, if there isn't any other business, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting because we need to go into Board of Assessors meeting, so I'd like to make a motion that we adjourn our select board meeting. So I have a second? I think that was the second. I heard.
Yes.
Yeah, it's-
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, and Jeff, you're chair of the Board of Assessors.
So I'd like to call this Board of Assessors meeting to order. We have on our, and it's now 8:19. We have to approve a certified ratio declaration of the Gilson State. That's what we're saying is our certified ratio of the property values, the just value of the properties in our municipality. Our assessors agent has done a recalculation of the sales information that they based the certified ratio on. And it has found that he's up to 87%. They had originally found 71%. And they were going to give us a 73% certified ratio. Based upon that 87%, we can declare a 95% certified ratio. So it's not 100%, but at least it's going to save us some money that we don't lose in reimbursements. So I would like to move that we approve the certified ratio declaration form that will be finalized by Ashley and be sent in to the state before June 3rd.
Second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's a vote. Then I'd like to move that we adjourn this board of assessors meeting.
Aye, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Short and sweet. We could do that.